And welcome back to part two of Superfruits. We're talking with David Gall and his special guest, Debbie Drexler. And wow, Superfruits. And actually, these products you can buy at O'Fallon Nutrition. Their brand new location, Highway K, Mexico Road in O'Fallon, Missouri. O'FallonNutrition.com is also where you want to go. They have some of these shows archived on there, too, as well. It's O'FallonNutrition.com. David, I'm going to turn it back over to you. We've got another 12 minutes. We can talk to Debbie about these great products, and I'm learning a lot about superfruits. Take her away.
Really exciting. We've got, of course, all these healthy fruits available to us at our local grocery store. We've got apples and oranges and tangerines and berries, and there's a lot of cool properties in a lot of those fruits. But then there are certain fruits from around the world that have been traditionally used as, foods during famine or medicinal agents, etc., that tend to come from some of the exotic locales in the world, and they are very, very rich in antioxidants and other compounds. And Debbie and I were talking about noni juice right before the break, which is an incredible substance. And we discussed some of the various health benefits of that, immune boosting. It's very, very rich in minerals. So, why is noni juice good? Well, it's incredibly rich in minerals. And part of that, as Debbie mentioned, is from the soil that it's grown in areas and islands around French Polynesia. But Debbie and I were talking during the break about how we've heard a lot of folks over the years using it for pain relief, anecdotally, as well as support of reduction of inflammation. And Debbie, I didn't mention this to you during the break, but there's a local massage therapist who is pretty well known. Her name is Andrea, and she's worked on various NFL football players, et cetera. She's one of these people that you can't even get in with. But she does shop at our store, and she has been swearing that noni juice is the greatest pain reliever for these guys for years. And she's always told me that she believed it was due to the mineral content of the noni juice.
Mm-hmm. Again, the French Polynesians have used it to alleviate pain and kind of balance the serotonin levels in the brain. So that's going to also help with your mood and your sleep and your blood sugar. But with respect to pain, when you look at the noni, as well as even the mangosteen, when you look at the ability that to help fight that inflammation, which of course you've got pain, you have an injury, then your body's going to have the inflammation because it's natural. It's a natural thing to do to help protect it, but you can't get rid of the pain or heal until you get rid of the, inflammation. So you look at the COX enzymes and how that would prevent, it inhibits the inflammatory prostaglandins and the COX enzymes, and so that's the same. Actually, with the mangosteen, which is even better for inflammation than the noni, but that's kind of the key with respect to inhibiting that pain, I think. So.
Yeah, these COX-2 enzymes, as well as these inflammatory prostaglandins that you were referring to, and it's wonderful that in the world of nutrition we have things like noni juice and mangosteen, or even other herbs like turmeric or ginger and et cetera, that can modulate these things without masking them or covering them up. Supporting our body's own natural healing process, let's say. And we've had a ton of people come in for noni juice for purposes like that. And I'm glad that you mentioned the serotonin aspect as well. We do a lot of shows where we talk about brain chemistry here on What About Nutrition. And it's wonderful to know we talked about some of the amino acids that can raise that, but noni juice apparently also affects serotonin.
It does, and I mentioned to you on the break that I don't do any coffee or caffeine or stimulants, but because of that energy I get from the noni, just 1 or 2 ounces once or twice a day. Everybody has to listen to their own body, but it boosts my serotonin levels, and it's that feel. And I'm pretty much a raw foodie, and I love food. And just like you said, you can come and get your apples and your berries and whatever other produce that you have in your market. You want to eat your colors, and you want to eat variety, and you want to eat in abundance. I mean, most people don't eat enough. They don't eat often enough, and their bodies are starving. So, but these just go beyond the mark with respect to the active compounds. So when you're talking about a berry that can boost your serotonin levels, it's like, pretty fun to experiment with, in spite of the bitter, nasty, stinky blue cheese taste. People just have to kind of get over that.
we tell folks it smells and tastes kind of like dirty, cheesy socks. But it is a good thing, and we were talking about this on the break, that these are the real deal. There's other stores that can sell folks, products with the name noni on the front that have hardly any noni in them. And frankly, I think the way that people can tell a lot of the time is that they taste really, really good. The only exception is if they see a juice and it says it has a certain amount of noni, mixed with other stuff, but at least it tells you how much. That's at least something to look for. I know Genesis does that with some other of their juices. But we really think it's a point of pride that we have the original form where, it's not trying to taste really good, it's trying to work really well.
Yeah, let me step in here a second. Debbie, I just did some research on my Android on noni juice. Evidently, this was the Wikipedia, which, has been double checked and triple checked now. Hopefully. But it says there are 300 businesses worldwide, approximately, that sell noni juice. What is your company? How do you differentiate between yourself and the other 299 companies? Apparently.
Very good question. I'll tell you something. The main thing would be reading that label. When you look at the supplement facts panel, if you even in a juice, whether you're in grocery or looking at some of the supplements and the juices, when you see the word reconstituted, that means it's coming from a powder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, then you've killed all the enzymes and nutrients and micronutrients and whatever. So you want to dodge the word reconstituted in a supplement. It's a different thing if you're drinking a juice and you just want some granite or something and it's reconstituted. But when you want those active compounds and the medicinal benefits, you want it in its purest form. Again, that's why it says Noni 100. It's 100% noni. It's an old kahuna recipe. And with all of these, the acai, the goji, all of them. I mean, Dr. Lindsay is a healer. He's a certified nutritionist. He's a master herbalist. He knows more about plants and plant compounds than anyone I've ever met, and he wants people to be well. Mm-hmm. There's an abundance of free information on our website and the CDs that we can supply the store with for your customers. But he actually, he wants you to be well, so he traveled around the world trying to bring the purest superfruits to the market, and that's what you're getting. So it's not reconstituted or diluted or watered down. It's grown without pesticides, herbicides, larvicides, fungicides.
Wow.
When things grow wild the way nature intended, that you're not, unlike a farmer, even that farms organically, you're still digging in the soil and churning up the soil and changing the energies of the plant. So, there's a big difference. And
yeah, it's really unique that you're bringing these wild harvested fruits to market. You're shipping them cold so they don't have to be irradiated. That was, I think, a really important point you made earlier. It's really neat, and that's kind of been my impression of Dr. Lindsay, is that he was kind of a pioneer of these. The very first time I ever heard of these juices was a number of years ago, and it was from your company, Genesis Today. I'd never heard of noni juice or acai before that. And I really like the fact that even then, with the materials they would send to the store, we can kind of tell the businesses that some businesses send us materials to the store saying, hey, carry our product, you'll make money. And the materials sent to our store from Genesis were, hey, this is our product. It's made the right way. It's made traditionally. We take our time with it. We don't do these other negative things. We don't mix it with stuff. And, that really resonates with us. It seems like a much more authentic way to do it. And I'd also like to give you a chance. We've spent a lot of time on noni, which is really one of the most famous of these, but acai, mangosteen, sea buckthorn, goji juice, those are all really remarkable too. And maybe let's take 45 seconds on each and just real quickly run through them. So let's hit on acai for a moment. What are a couple of the main points of acai?
Oh, the beauty berry. You're going to look at the active compounds, which are the healthy fats. It has omega-3, 6. Actually, it has 3, 6, 7, and 9. Each ounce of our acai has 65 milligrams of omega-7. Most people think look at omega-7.
And that's that lubricating oil that's found also in sea buckthorn. Things supports dry eye, other dry tissues in the body.
Yep. But acai also has the 7. So 3, 6, 7, and 9.
Cool.
You have all that healthy fat that burns fat, that gives you energy. You get more energy from healthy fat than any other foods.
Oh, I agree.
And then it also, celiac, it's one of my favorite things to suggest for people that have celiac, which these are all, I think we mentioned they're kosher and vegan and gluten-free and all of that. They're all gluten-free, which is important for someone with celiac.
Of course.
But when those little villi in the intestinal tract dry out and break off, then, there's nothing that can reach out and grab the nutrients that your body needs. And so before you know it, you have a soothed intestinal tract or you have celiac. And acai is one of my favorite things to talk about with respect to celiac.
That's a great point. It's a really potent antioxidant, I believe, as well.
Well, it is. The ORAC rating for the oxygen radical absorbance capacity on all these superfruits is just, it's off the charts.
Right,
I mean,
sky high.
you know, when you have an overload of free radicals in the body that can cause oxidation in the cells, ultimately that's going to result in disease and accelerated aging. And so you can look at that and say, we take acai alone. I mean, the ORAC rating on acai it varies per batch and per harvest, you know, but it's off the charts.
Much higher than fruits like blueberries, which we know are already potent.
Yeah, the difference between blueberries maybe 2,000, 2,500 per cup. You know, acai per ounce is going to be anywhere from 18 to 25,000. So
Wow.
you know they're up there, but also it is a complete protein. I want to squeeze that in there because I know we're limited on time, but
Sure.
it has all the essential and non-essential amino acids. So those are the building blocks of life. So when you look at how the Brazilians survived on acai during times of famine, and then you look at some of those active compounds, you know, just the healthy fats and protein alone, it's like, whoa, you know, and then you just have to look
It's
at
like a
the
complete
beautiful,
food.
you know, Brazilian people and their skin, hair, nails.
Sure. Well, I mean, they definitely have a reputation for looking good. And,
It's true.
you know,
But lack of endurance, you know, you think of the
Oh,
healthy
yeah.
fats, you know, somebody that has malabsorption or eczema, any drying out of the skin, internal, external drying out, you know.
It's a great point. We did an eczema show recently, and we talked about how you have to moisturize with good fats from the inside out.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very true. Very true. So, you know, again, and I know you mentioned the antioxidants and the you know, ORAC rating, but the free radicals can cause damage to your cells, which impair the protein synthesis, and that's going to contribute to premature aging. So, acai and sea buckthorn are the two that I would look at for the aging. You know,
Great point. And just, you know, we have about 30 seconds left, and I just want to mention that you guys also do mangosteen and goji juice. I know goji's nickname is the happy berry. And, you know, let's let folks go to your website to read about those. It's genesistoday.com, I believe, correct?
it is, and there's .net. There's a little mood finder, like Goji's going to pop up, you know, say that you're in a bad mood, mind, memory, depression, fatigue, mangosteen, inflammation.
So
Also,
mangosteen
as
is
much
the main
as I love noni,
anti-inflammatory
if I had a
one.
fever, I'd grab mangosteen first because it pulls heat out of the body. So
good point.
cool down, you know. I always think of women that have hot flashes. I'd probably suggest mangosteen and see what happens. So,
Hey, that's a good
you know,
point.
has a natural antihistamine effect, so that, you know, allergies, especially food allergies, you want to look at mangosteen.
That's a good point, too. Well, Debbie, I mean, we could just go on all day, but unfortunately we're out of time. But you've been so informative, and I really appreciate all the points that you've touched on. I have actually learned about these fruits today from you. You brought up a number of points that I wasn't aware of, and I really appreciate that. And it's genesistoday.com or .net, and she's right. They have a section there. You can actually put in symptoms, and it'll help make suggestions to you. We have all their products on sale now and all through next month, which is May at O'Fallon Nutrition. So look for Genesis Today products there.
Hey, thanks a lot, Debbie. Appreciate it. We're out of time, but that was a very informative program. Thank you very much for being with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, David Gall with me. That's it. We're way out of time. But join us next week for What About Nutrition, exclusively here on Westplex Radio.
Thanks a lot.